Hey guys, Darren here. I want you to follow me along in this story. Just bear with me. Before I do that, if you would hit the like and subscribe button, I would appreciate it. I forget to say that a lot of times, but there are those of us who like to hunt. And in hunting, one of the ways to do it, you can stalk hunt or you can sit and hunt. If you were sitting, you have like a tree stand or a place or a blind, something like that, and you are waiting for animals to come down a trail that is known, that is predictable, and you are set up over an area that they like to frequent. Maybe it's a place where they like, where the mud tastes good, like a salt lick, something like that, natural salt lick. Maybe there's a few stands of pear trees or persimmons, or maybe there's a location, there's a water source right down there. It's easy for the animal, let's say deer, for the deer to get down to. And so you sit on the location, and it's usually, kind of a downhill area because the water's flowing downhill. And you'll be sitting down to where you have access and you can view the area easily, and you'll see where the critter comes down through the draw or the hollow, something like that. It's going an area that is easier to travel, so it's not going through the dense stuff or anything like that. It's coming down through. So you sit and you wait and you wait. That's a good way to do it if you have the time and the patience. And the thing comes down, and then you are able to see it and shoot it. That's a good way to hunt. It really is. It's a very good way to hunt. All the other ways notwithstanding, I mean, this is a good, tried and true way to do it. What I have just described to you also, think about this, but bear with me. That's a perfect description of the Walmart parking lot. I got a story to tell you. I thought about this last night. I was in Walmart, our local Walmart. We don't have a super Walmart. We just have a regular Walmart. Opens at 6, closes at 9 or something like that. So I was going to Walmart to pick up something, so I pulled into the parking lot, and there was a lady out there in the parking lot pushing a child in a stroller. She was Indian. I'm going to say more than likely she was Pakistani because of the jewelry, because of the funky, just bear with me, because of the jewelry. She was walking around the parking lot with a sign. You park in your rows. She was traversing the rows. She was working the lot, is what you would call it. I used to do a little bit of loss prevention when I was a manager of big lots and a Walmart, associate manager at Walmart, manager at the big lots. So this kind of stuff kind of stands out. And I looked at her, and she had the child, like a 2 or 3 year old, in a stroller, and it was an adaptive stroller. An adaptive stroller is what a handicapped child or a child with some sort of disability, to accommodate for that disability, they would be adaptable or transformable, be able to add things onto it. My oldest son, he was in a wheelchair, and so he had an adaptive seat. And so this, to me, it just stands out. And so I was looking at that, and I thought, it's funky. So I go inside, and I don't know what, I was getting rolls or something for hamburgers for dinner or something like that. I wasn't in there 15 minutes. Went in, and it came back out. And she had walked out, and during that time, she had walked back across the parking lot. And she said, "Excuse me, sir." And she held out this sign, "We are broken, homeless, we need money, we don't have anything, please, something. And I said, "Ma'am, I've seen you here before." I said, "No, thank you." And she, kind of rolled her eyes and huffed at me and started walking on. And I just sat there and I started looking around and watching. She was working the parking lot pretty good. And off at the bottom of the parking lot, off by himself, there was like a red Honda SUV, clear windows. Guy was sitting in it and he was watching her intently. And then I started looking around and there was a black Mercedes SUV circling the parking lot. Clear windows, both had Florida tags on them. The highway that we live adjacent to is a secondary highway, Highway 5, going all the way down into Mobile. 218 miles from where we are. I don't care if you know where I live. He was circling and circling and circling. And she just kept walking back and forth and working the parking lot. She walked back up to my car. And I guess she didn't recognize me or something like that. And she said, "Sir, we're broke and homeless and don't have anything." And I said, "Tell you what, you just talked to me 15 minutes ago when I went in the parking lot." I said, "Tell your buddies that they need to leave or I'm going to call the cops." And I pointed over to the guy in the red car. And at that point, the manager of the Walmart came out, big black guy. And he said, "What are you doing out here?" And she said, "Well, this, you know," she started telling him that. He said, "You've been out here all morning, you need to leave." And all of a sudden, that black Mercedes swept up and they got in it and drove off. And then that little red Honda followed them out of the parking lot. Now let's look at this from a hunting perspective. You have someone who's down at the bottom of the ravine who is looking. Then you have someone who is on the other side. And they might be moving, trying to push something down toward you. Oh, let's look at it from a military standpoint. I am not military. I've never been in the military. I don't ever claim to be. I do not have that honor. The one that's circling the parking lot is an Overwatch. And the one who is over here would be like a QRT, I believe the correct term is, for an exfiltration. This is what's happening now. This is what's happening nowadays. Pinball Preparedness did a video yesterday, I believe it was. Good channel. You ought to go take a look at it. If you've subscribed to me, more than likely you're already subscribed to him. He's got good content. Someone did something similar to one of the viewers, and they'd sent an email to him about a woman going out to a parking lot with her a couple of kids in the buggy, something like that, 6 and 7 year old kids, and getting everybody loaded up in the SUV. Somebody pulls up in the minivan and tries to start problems. The lady comes up with a pistol and runs them off. How about that? Oh, and there was a guy there too. He was unarmed, but he was there to help. Kudos to those people. That's good stuff. Nothing is going to get better. It's going to get worse. This is the way it is. I despise going in stores, but I do not let my wife go anywhere alone to a store anymore. If we go anywhere, I've told you guys before, I carry a gun to church. I have one beside me while I'm sitting down in the living room. You need to be aware of what is going on. There was a video that somebody posted. I think somebody sent it to me from Facebook. I'm not on Facebook much anymore, so if you send me something, you know, message it to me. I don't get on Facebook unless it's to offend people. A minivan pulled up in front of this lady who was pumping gas. She pulled out the gas pump and squirted gasoline all over the minivan and inside the door of the minivan and inside the windows. And the guys came out at her and she squirted them with a gas pump, soaked them with gasoline. And what are you going to do? You can't fire a gun because that's a suicide right there. You can't do anything. God don't do anything that causes a spark because you are dripping gasoline. And the inside of that minivan was full of gasoline. It took off. If you have to do something like that, it is well worth it. You guys be aware. I've gotten emails from people who have said this stuff has happened to them. Stay aware. Stay alert. First rule of survival is don't die. How about let's keep that first rule in mind? Take care of your people.